Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Clarke, and my project, Between Languages and Legacies, a cultural displacement of Chinese Jamaican Hakka identity and digital storytelling through interpretive Maldives, is about what it feels like to have cultural roots somewhere but still feel distant from that culture because language, family history, or lived experiences. I'm using Interpreter of Maldives as my course anchor and connecting it to my Chinese Jamaican Hakka identity and digital storytelling. My question is about mixed and diasporic identity. I'm not only asking where people are from, I'm asking what happens when your family background connects you to a culture, but your language, daily life, or the way others see you makes that connection complicated. In Interpreter of Maldives, the Das family made me think about the difference between culture, background, and cultural belonging. They are Indian by ancestry, but their everyday life is American. They returned to India, but they moved through it almost like tourists. That's the same tension I want to explore in my real world example. This Instagram post is one of my strongest real world examples. It is about Auntie Carol Williams Wong and Chinese Jamaican identity. What stood out to me was that the caption and comments were not just random social media. They became a space where people were sharing family history, language issues, migration stories, and feelings of not being fully accepted.
Growing up with Chinese Jamaicans, I quickly learned that if you look Chinese but you never speak Chinese, Mao Gong Tongwa, Mao Gong Hakawa, you definitely got different treatment from Chinese folks.
First of all, arriving in Hong Kong, I looked around. I said to my husband, "Oh, for the first time in our life, we look like the majority." So we felt that we were home and everything would be hunky dory. Of course, where I went, I fraternized with the English expatriates because of the language. This white lady had some money. We all got our vegetables, and she just held out the money. The market lady, Kennedy's market lady, took the money, gave her the change. "Thank you, Missy." She also said thank you in English. Then I made a mistake and also do the same thing I'm learning. Put the money out and I said, "How much?" in English. Oh, she just threw the vegetables down and started, "You Chinese, you don't speak Chinese." And so, of course, I didn't have any vegetables, so I just came out. And in my Jamaica way, I said, "All right, you keep your vegetable, I keep my money."
Go on. And your parents spoke to you in Hakka?
Yes, that's right. We go off to English school, so once you leave the home, you don't hear Hakka. But you can understand because when you're growing up, you were scolded in Hakka. And to their horror, when we reply in English, they always say "Gong Hakka," and then we run away and laugh. So I decided to go and learn because that's the only way I'm going to fight this discrimination.
Okay, true, Mom. You get bad treatment from Chinese, not speaking Chinese?
Yeah, it's real. Yeah, it started from when we came here in 1974. We were just like looked upon. Like even when we went to Chinese restaurants, they would just throw dishes at us. Like don't even pay us no mind. Like they were just bad. Even today, they do the same thing. I go grocery store and I'm at the cashier. Sometimes I feel like wringing off them neck because they're so feisty. They thought we Jamaicans were feisty. Them people are feisty.
That's why my mom is basically like feisty pro max. She is feisty.
I don't want a war. I just want them to don't fling my stuff. Like if I have banana, don't fling my banana.
This map shows 5 historical waves of Hakka migration. Each migration wave, there was some form of social unrest at play, often coinciding with a violent transition from one dynasty to the next. And I want to use this to show that cultural displacement has longer history connected to movement, survival, and community formation. This slide gives the Jamaica connection. The PDF says that there were 4 key tranches of Hakka migration to Jamaica between 1854 and the early 20th century. One phrase that stood out to me is social infrastructure. Early migrants did not just arrive as individuals. Their presence helped create the conditions for more people to follow and build community. These details show that Chinese migration to Jamaica was connected to a larger labor system in the Caribbean, and the first group of people arrived in 1854. It describes the routes through Hong Kong and Panama. This video is a Jamaican Chinese Hakka identity discussion.
Chinese Jamaican. This is the original, the Chinese in Jamaica 1963, Jamaican Chinese worldwide. A lot of you guys always ask about it, so I'm gonna dive a little bit further, but I will find out how you guys can access this because I'm not sure if Uncle Patrick is making more. A lot of people online, they have Chinese grandparents and they don't know how to find and trace their roots. So a lot of your grandparents and stuff that are from Jamaica are probably in this book, which is the original. I just want to highlight this picture here because I feel like that is so standard. Like this is my great grandmother. That's my gongong's mom. That was like the style. Chinese arrival in Jamaica, maps of Hakka villages, photo villages, Hakka migration map. A lot of acknowledgements in this book. A lot of people had a hand in doing this. The majority of it is Jamaican Chinese families. So basically it's separated. So there's a Chung family, and it tells you like where in the world they are, a little bit about each family, history of Jamaican Chinese in football. Nearly all Chinese in Jamaica are Hakka. Personally would say that I've been to Jamaica more recently and not all the Chinese in Jamaica are Hakka anymore. But from what I do understand, when my grandparents were there, majority, if not all Chinese in Jamaica are Hakka. Hakka Moy, I speak a lot about Hakka culture and I don't know all of it. And I think that's the most beautiful thing is that I can learn online as well. What the hot girl them there? Another Chinese school for children in Port Antonio. Second group of Chinese arrived in Jamaica between 1864 and the third group of Chinese arrived in Jamaica 1884. The Panama Connection. You think they would ever do a new one? An updated one?
No. What they do now is the Chongqing magazines.
We'll talk about Chongqing on another post. Big up Chongqing Association.
This is Lee Tom Yin.
Yeah, who's that?
That's Patrick's dad and Patrick's mom. Right, so he's the one that did this book in Jamaica, right? And then Patrick is the one that.
And then his son is the one that did this one. Zaki's always learning about history with his popo. If we don't ask these questions now, how would I know who's in these books?
In the Norman Manley Airport that we arrived in Kingston.
And what's this, the 90s?
Remember, you were there.
This is way back in the days. This is downtown.
This slide is pretty much the center of my argument. Cultural displacement is not always someone being pushed out of a city or a country. It can also be a language barrier, being judged by your parents, or having family history that you do not fully understand. My project looks at how people use digital spaces to talk about these things and rebuild connection. Technology is not just a background tool. Digital platforms, maps, screenshots, online archives, and video storytelling are systems that can preserve identity. As an ECET major, I can connect my field to the design of and use of those systems in hopes that one day one of those books that you saw in the previous slides would become digitized so that people can find a lot of the unanswered questions about their ancestry. Here's my peer synthesis and some of the classmates that helped shape my thinking. I want to end by bringing everything together. Interpreter of Maldives shows that being connected by ancestry does not always mean you feel rooted. The Hakka migration history shows that movement has shaped Chinese Jamaican identity for generations. The Instagram post shows that digital platforms can become modern archives. My closing point is that culture can survive when people have spaces to store, share, and retell it. Here are some photos of my Chinese Jamaican family.